So guys, welcome back to OMSI 2. It has been a while since the last video, and today we're going to be in another DLC. This is the Berlin X10 DLC. I think it's called Berlin X10, I don't even know, but we're doing the X10 route in this episode, which is probably the longest route in the entire game. Entire DLC. So we're going to take a double decker for this route because you definitely need it. Just setting up the bus here as well, just turning on the heating to start with. It's an early morning run, so it'll be quite busy, in fact very busy on this route, even though it's the busiest one. But yeah, we'll set the bus up and we'll put the heat on circulate, because sometimes it doesn't really heat up well if you're just taking air from the outside. But we've got a nice little camera on the up kind of deck of the bus. As opposed to the older equivalents, which don't have that at all, not even a mirror, I don't think. But as confirmed, we're going to go on to the X10 route, and we're going to do Route 64, I think I picked. No, in fact, I picked 66. This is kind of like on the weekend, so I don't know how the Monday to Friday route will fare out. But this should be fun. It's quite long, as you can see. It'll take us, well, it'll take about an hour and 8 minutes-ish for the entire route. But yeah, we're going to set up the line and terminus, which is Andrzeli, I think. I don't even know how to say that. Or Andrzeel. As you can see on the outside of the bus. That bus looks really nice as well. I think it's only available in the Berlin X10 DLC. Also, you get the little bendy buses with the Berlin livery for them, which is pretty good, even though the settings do look a little bit shocking on it. But we're going to fast forward time, and we'll pick it up when we're ready to set off. Okay, now we're going to set off to our first stop, which is only, well, down the road, I should say. We've got like another minute before we have to even stop there. But our little stop, we're going to go left here and go through the town. And we'll go through different neighbourhoods, like this part. It's quite heavily focused around houses, and like just up the road. I think if you just turn right at the end of this road, you get to shopping, like kind of like the shopping part of it, with big buildings and such. But this is just outside the zoo, believe it or not. So this is where people get on when they leave, I suppose. But we'll let these guys on. A whole probably 3 passengers. There's another one. Yeah, 3 passengers. What a first stop this is. And someone's already standing up. There's seats there, god damn it. We'll circulate the air in there. I don't know what that passenger seat thing does. The one that clicks below the circular button. Really don't know what it does. Right then, so we'll wait here, and then we'll pick it up again once we're ready to set off. Right then, time to head off to our second stop of the route. I think we just turn right at the end of this road, and then we get to a bus stop. It's kind of like one of those, you know, where it's kind of like a bus like a depot, but it's not. It's kind of like one of those. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But I should have mentioned at the start of this video, this is going to be a 2-part kind of video, because the video is like 50 minutes long, and that's just way too long for a video. So I'm going to split it up into 2, maybe even 3, who knows. So we'll do a bit now, and then we'll continue in the next part, I suppose, later down the line. But next stop, I'm not gonna switch off to 2 episodes. That's a bit, well, 2 stops. That's a bit stupid. But we'll just stop here. This is a very bumpy surface, a cobbled road. So I don't know what the heck that translates to. The bus stop, anyways. Loads of people are getting on here. We're going to be late probably at this point. Yeah, there's a lot of people getting on and stopping, so while they're getting on, I'll just go through a few things. This is kind of like a really old recording. Well, I say really old, it's really old in terms of me recording it and then editing it and all that, but this is way before I started to upgrade my PC, and I'll go into detail a little bit later about that. But yeah, this is kind of like an older episode. I will be doing a Christmas kind of themed OMSI video, maybe even OMSI videos, who knows, around that, just before I kind of break for Christmas, I suppose, with the channel. And talking about PC upgrades, new processor. Obviously, this is not the gameplay from it. This is when I had my old kind of processor in it, my i3. From an i3 to an i7. Pretty good processor, if you ask me. So I can pretty much play any games. So from now on this channel, I'll probably be doing PC Let's Plays. I really don't see any other way forward for this channel. The PS4 kind of streaming thing to YouTube, like my editing software just basically breaks. Well, it doesn't break, it just basically like doesn't want to like import the video, and then it just kind of chokes on it, and then that left me with no choice but to carry with PC. That was kind of initially what it was. Well, it wasn't initially, but you know, it was just kind of going towards the PC only thing. Looks like there's no choice now, thanks to whatever caused that problem before. So that means there's no more F1. Obviously, if no one else watches, well, I'm pretty sure no one else, but a select fewer people watch these videos. So I'll do a big update video around everything, I suppose. But briefly, F1 won't be like on the channel. That's essentially what it is. So I'm going to replace it with probably OMSI and all that, which is isn't a bad choice, to be fair. Requires less editing for one. But we're going to pull into this bus stop. There's obviously parked cars here, which is fantastic. So we'll let the person on if anyone wants to get on the bus, and we'll turn the heating down because it's like 18 degrees. So we can turn it down a little bit. Oh, it takes you ages to walk over, doesn't it? God damn it, woman. Right, we should be able to set off now. Just avoid that parked car. So these do have bus lanes. This part is kind of like a lot of trees in the centre and on the outside, so it feels very like closed off and restricted. With occasional gaps in the trees. You get stupid cars that park in the bus lane, which is a bit of annoying thing to happen. And then you'll get people like that lorry in front who cut from the outside lane to the inside lane. And we're stopping here as well. With this express service, we don't stop at every stop, so it's kind of like you'll probably see me slow down and put my indicators on for going into a bus stop when it actually isn't like our stop. I've never driven this route, so I don't really know what the bus stops are, in all honesty. But we gained a bit more time back there, so we'll wait a little bit, open the little window, and we'll set off very shortly. I like those digital displays on the bus stops. That makes everything so much better, in my opinion, with this, because like all the other maps, well, the standard map's pretty old-fashioned. It's like 90s or 80s even. They don't have things like that. In terms of how it compares to Rheinhausen, and that's what I was talking about before about cars parking in the bus lane. Yeah, compared to Rheinhausen, it's a little bit bigger, I'd say, and I think it's a lot better in terms of like it just reuses. Well, it doesn't reuse; it just adds new skins for the like buses, like the double deckers. And in fact, it has modern versions of it. That's what I'm using, which is really good. But apparently, like loads of reviews were that it was unoptimized, and I think that goes for OMSI in general. It's not optimized. I think like 2 German people worked on it before. I don't know if they still do. I know that a publisher does it. Don't know if they have any relation to those people. But they're still pumping out DLC for it. They pumped out a map. I can't remember what it was, but it was like about £24 on the Steam store. Compare it to like, that was officially like the price on it. I think it's like very similar compared to Rheinhausen on Steam, of course. And there isn't a lot really. There's like, I think they've added like new buses and new things on the inside, but they're kind of like reused things. They're kind of like things that are already in the game in previous DLCs. But then they were just like, let's reuse some things and let's not make anything else. Don't get me wrong, they've done a new bus, but interior-wise with the displays and all, that's pretty much the same. It says authentic seating. It's just like the similar seating to other buses before. That was the reveal trailer. It said authentic seating. It did not impress me a bit when it said authentic, because it's not. Let's be honest. But in terms of maps, I will not be buying many maps for this game. I think I'll stick with the Berlin and the Rheinhausen for now. Maybe something else will come down the line that I will purchase, but I'm not heavily investing in this game, I'll be quite honest. Because it's unoptimized. Don't know how it performs on my new kind of like, well, officially it's kind of a new system. I just changed the processor in it. So I'm going to see how it performs on there. It's probably going to be bad, because if it performs bad on an i3, it's probably going to perform bad on an i7, because I'm pretty sure that it's only like a dual core processor that you need, I think. It's just unoptimized. A game of this standing should not perform this badly. Really shouldn't freeze much. But yeah, that's the way sometimes it goes. But now we're distracted from all of that. Getting back into the timings, we're pretty much a minute late now. So that's going to be fun. We're going to be a minute late. I don't know if this is our stop. Yes, it is. Olivier Platz. Olivier Platz, I don't know. I'm not good with German names. Anyway, we're going to stop here. Going to let people off, let people on. It's freezing again. You're going to see a lot of freezing in this game. A little bit earlier on there was a bit of freezing, so don't know. And at some point you will see a white steering wheel because the texture broke on it. So we're going to wait here. We're like 1.2 minutes late now. I'm trying to fiddle around with the heating to make sure it's in an acceptable window. And yeah, we're now 1.4, nearly like 1.5 minutes late. So we have to get a move on. A little bit inconvenient that the car was literally there in the middle of the bus lane. So I have to get around that, and I'll probably have to... Yeah, I'm going to have to go around this car as well, because they're parking the bus lane. Just one car. It's not just 2 or 3, it's just one. It's annoying. Nevertheless, we'll keep going on here. Green lights, which is what we want. I don't know if this is our next bus stop. Is it our next bus stop, I wonder? Oh, well, people are moving, I presume it is. There we go. Just park it up. This is a bit awkward to kind of like pull into. It's on a bend, the bus stop. So if you hit the bus stop wrong, you're gonna... Well, if you pull into it incorrectly, it's gonna like... It's gonna push the back. I don't even know how to explain it, but like if you park on a curve, like half the bus will be sticking in towards the curb and half of it will be like miles off the curb. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. I just didn't even know what I was trying to explain there. But there's... Oh, God, twins. There's loads of people getting on here. Nice low textured face. Guy in the green top. Let's get out of here. 1.5 minutes late. We have gained like 0 time, like at all. I think we made a little bit of time up when we hit the green light. But we need to get a move on. A minute's not too bad, but in terms of this, it's... Well, I say it's a minute is bad, but now it's down to like 0.2, so it's okay, I suppose. Is this our stop? Oh, no, it's not. It's not. I thought it was. You see, this is what I'm saying. We don't stop at every stop, and then I end up stopping, like pulling into every bus stop. Because I just don't know. Because I haven't done it before. Now we're like 1.1 minutes late, which is daft. I don't even know how we're that late. But yeah, there's a lot of driving through this part, actually. It kind of like does my head in a little bit because it's so restricted. There's not really much to look at in terms of like the scenery. There's just some buildings. There's... Just think of it as a very busy town centre with trees on it, I suppose. We're going to stop here. No. You see, I'm always fooled into pulling into every stop. Always fooled. But we'll carry on up this bus lane, and hopefully no one will get in my way. But yeah, this is where I think we're approaching like the end of the trees. For the time being, for like a little bit before we even encounter like more trees. And this one's a very awkward kind of stop zone because you can't really see the lights till you get over that hill. And we've got our own little bus lane on the right, which is where it should be, to be quite fair. There should be no parking zones, really. But yeah, this bus stop's pretty okay to pull into and easy to get out of. There's some traffic lights up ahead, though. I probably won't pull out till they hit green. And then the line's just like... It's really weird to stop because, like, there's a junction there, so you can't really pull forward. You have to stop here. Suppose let's pick these passengers up and then we'll progress on once we get them on board. Let's go. Right, we're gonna try and put our foot down a little bit, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get to the next bus stop on time. So yeah, this is now where we kind of like see a brief end to the trees before we encounter yet more trees, which are here, pretty much. That's not our stop. Thought it was. Clearly not. Clearly not. This is a little bit weird, this part, because like there's no arrows telling you where to go, but essentially what you should do is just go into the left part, which is what I've done here. This is pretty much the X10 route through here. If you stick in the right-hand lane, you just got all the any of the two right-hand lanes, you're gonna be lost essentially. But this is where this particular route for the X10 goes. So I think this might be our next bus stop. Hope it is. It is. Bismarckplatz. Only one person getting on, but this is going to be the end of this part of the OMSI 2 Berlin episode. So we'll pick it up next time, actually, where we're going to continue further into the X10 route. So that's going to be it from me. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more content, and I shall see you all next time.